the betrayal begins. You ever get that sinking feeling like something's wrong, even before it happens? I got that feeling the day before prom. It clung to me like wet fabric. I should have listened to it. I'm Tessa, 17, senior. Quiet art kid, not the kind who usually causes waves. But I love designing dresses. Always have. And for the past 5 months, I've poured my heart, my tears, and most of my after-school hours into creating my dream prom dress. Royal blue satin, hand-sewn sequins, a slit on the side that made me feel bold without trying too hard. It was the only thing I'd ever truly made for me. And I kept it at my best friend's house. Lauren, the golden girl of our school. Blonde, blue-eyed, and always picture-perfect. She offered to store my dress weeks ago, said it would be safer there, away from my nosy little cousins. I trusted her. Why wouldn't I? We'd been best friends since 3rd grade. I thought she was my ride or die. The night before prom, I texted her. Hey, can I swing by around 6 to pick up the dress? No reply. Everything okay? Still nothing. I felt my chest tighten, but maybe she was busy. She always had a lot going on. I drove to her house anyway. Her mom answered the door, all smiles. Oh, hi, sweetie. Lauren's at the salon. Want me to grab your dress? I nodded, relieved. Yes, thank you. She disappeared upstairs. But when she came back, her face looked confused. That's weird. Lauren said she put it in the garment bag in the guest room, but it's not there. I blinked. Did someone move it? Her mom shook her head slowly. Not that I know of. Maybe check with her later? I stood there, stunned. A numb kind of panic crawled over me. I left without saying much else. Called Lauren. Straight to voicemail. Texted her again. Please call me. My dress is missing. This isn't funny. Nothing. I stayed up until 1 a.m. Just sitting on my bedroom floor, staring at an empty hanger. I didn't cry. Not yet. I was too shocked. Too confused. Morning came. Still no response. That's when my mom knocked on my door, holding a sleek silver dress bag. It's not the same as the one you made, she said gently. But I couldn't let you go without something. I know how hard you worked. I stared at her. My heart swelled and broke all at once. The dress inside was a simple black gown with a sweetheart neckline. Off the rack. But elegant. Safe. Not me, but at least I wouldn't look like a total mess. I thanked her, then went to curl my hair in silence. At 6:45, I pulled up to the school gym. The prom had already started. Fairy lights strung from the ceiling. Music thumped in the background. Everyone posed near the entrance in sparkling dresses and tuxes. That's when I saw her. Lauren, wearing my dress. My actual, hand-sewn, royal blue masterpiece. Every sequin. Every stitch. Mine. I froze. She turned and saw me, and the way her face barely flinched, that told me everything. She knew what she did. And she didn't care. She strutted past, dragging her date, Caleb, the tall, broad-shouldered football captain everyone liked. Except, Caleb wasn't her date. Not originally. That was the second twist of the night. 2 weeks ago, Caleb had asked me to prom.
Yeah, me.
We'd been working on a poetry project in English. He was surprisingly smart, thoughtful. He quoted Sylvia Plath once, and I nearly dropped my pen. We started talking more. One afternoon, he just asked, "Would you want to go to prom with me?" I thought Lauren would be thrilled for me. But she wasn't. She kept saying things like, "Oh, wow, I just didn't see that coming," or "Caleb, really? You two don't seem like a fit."
I thought she was just surprised.
Looking back now, I realized she was jealous. 3 days after he asked me, he suddenly ghosted. I thought maybe he changed his mind. I didn't push. I told myself I'd go solo. Now, seeing him with Lauren in my dress, laughing like nothing happened, I knew exactly what she did. I could barely breathe. The room spun. My hands clenched at my sides.
I didn't want to cry.
Not here. Not where they could see me fall apart. Hey. It was my friend Jasmine. She stood beside me, eyes narrowed at Lauren. Is that your dress? I nodded. She took it. She looks ridiculous in it, Jasmine muttered. It doesn't even fit her right. You want me to say something? I shook my head.
No.
Not yet. Because in that moment, somewhere between heartbreak and fury, I realized something. Lauren thought she had won. She stole my dress, my date, my confidence. But what she didn't know was that I still had my voice. And I wasn't done yet. The girl in the black dress. They say you should pick your battles. That night, I picked mine right there, under those fairy lights on the sticky gym floor. Lauren turned her back on me like I didn't exist. I watched her twirl in my dress like it was hers, like all the effort I put into making it didn't matter. And Caleb? He laughed beside her, saying nothing, holding her hand, wearing the boutonniere I made. Yeah, I made that too. I could have screamed. I could have cried. But I didn't. Instead, I straightened my shoulders, stepped into the room, and walked toward the punch table like I belonged. Because I did. I wasn't just the girl in the black dress. I was the girl who made the dress everyone else wanted. I was the girl who had been betrayed, and was just now starting to realize what I could do with that pain. Jasmine followed close behind, muttering curses under her breath. Do you want me to pour something on her? She whispered. Because I will. I will ruin her contour. Say the word. I actually laughed. For the first time all night. No, I said, not yet. I want to see how far she's willing to go to fake being me. I turned toward the dance floor. Lauren was now surrounded by a group of girls from cheer. She was doing her fake laugh. You know, the high-pitched one she uses when she wants people to think she's effortless. And Caleb? He looked bored. He stood stiff, one hand in his pocket, sipping punch. He wasn't even looking at her. He was scanning the room until his eyes landed on me. It was only for a second, but I saw it. Recognition. His eyes widened, like a snap of guilt or something deeper. Then, he quickly looked away. That 1 second told me everything. He hadn't known about the dress. He might have ghosted me. But he didn't expect this. That didn't excuse him. But it cracked open a door. I didn't dance right away. I didn't want to look desperate. Instead, I floated around the gym with Jasmine, laughing a little louder than usual, holding my head a little higher. I let people see me. And they did. One of the guys from drama class, Mitchell, came over and complimented my dress. Black velvet? Nice choice. You look sharp. I smiled. Thanks. Last minute backup. He blinked. Wait, wasn't your dress blue? Like you told Mrs. Riley you made it from scratch. I gave a slow nod, then tilted my head toward Lauren. Mitchell turned, then gasped. No. She didn't. I shrugged. She did. He whispered, that's cold. Want me to say something? No, I said. She's not done yet. An hour into prom, the DJ dimmed the lights and called for the first slow dance. A hush fell over the room. The crowd cleared space on the dance floor. Lauren reached for Caleb's hand, but he hesitated. She tugged again, smiling brightly. He followed, but something in his body language shifted. He wasn't excited. He looked like someone walking into a meeting, not a dance. They swayed stiffly to the music. I stood near the side of the gym, pretending not to watch, but I was watching. And so was Jasmine. He looks like he's being held hostage, she whispered. Then Caleb turned again, and this time he really saw me. His eyes locked on mine. I didn't look away. I smiled. Just slightly. Enough to say, you know what you did. And I know you know. His lips parted, like he wanted to say something. Lauren turned to see who he was looking at. Her smile cracked. Then she whispered something in his ear. He pulled back. Their dancing stopped. The music still played, but their conversation had clearly hit a speed bump. Lauren looked furious. He looked confused. And me? I took a sip of punch and felt the tiniest flicker of justice burn in my chest. A few minutes later, Caleb walked off the dance floor. Alone. Lauren stormed back toward her table, jaw tight, muttering something to one of her friends. Caleb? He walked straight up to me. I wasn't sure what he'd say. Hey, he said, voice low. Can we talk? Jasmine tensed beside me. Say the word, she whispered. I'll stab him with a straw. I waved her off and nodded. We stepped into the hallway just outside the gym. The thump of bass faded into the background. I didn't know, he said first.
About the dress.
I swear. I crossed my arms. Did you know she'd ghost me for you? He hesitated. Lauren told me you changed your mind, he said quietly. That you didn't want to go anymore. I laughed bitterly. So you just believed her? He winced. She showed me a text. It said you were over it and wanted to go solo. My heart dropped. I never sent that text. Let me guess, I said. It was conveniently from a number you didn't have saved? He nodded slowly.
God.
She really went that far? I should have asked you directly, Caleb said. I messed up. I'm sorry. I looked at him. He seemed genuine. Nervous. Embarrassed. Regretful. But that didn't mean I was going to let him off the hook so easily. You danced with her, I said. In the dress I made. You didn't stop her. I didn't know it was yours until I saw you. That doesn't change the fact that you were hers after you were mine. He looked down. You're right. We stood in silence. Then he looked up again. Can I fix it? I tilted my head. Fix it. I'm not with her. I never was. She just kind of took over. Sounds familiar, I muttered. He took a deep breath. Let me dance with you. Just once. Let me show you what I meant, before she twisted it.
Part of me wanted to say no. Part of me wanted to walk away.
But another part, the one that had cried at midnight over a stolen dress, the one that had been humiliated in silence, wanted to take something back. Not for Lauren. Not for Caleb.
For me.
All right, I said. One dance. When we walked back in, all eyes turned. Lauren stared from across the gym, like she'd seen a ghost. I didn't look away this time. I looked right at her. And then I walked past her, with her date, in my black dress. And the DJ, bless him, put on a slow song that started with a soft piano melody. Caleb held out his hand. I took it. And as we started to sway, the crowd around us quieted. We didn't speak. But I knew what this moment meant. I wasn't invisible anymore. I wasn't the girl who lost her dress or her date. I was the girl who showed up anyway and got them both back. Watch her crumble in heels she didn't earn. You'd think that after I danced with Caleb, the story would be over. That I'd feel satisfied. That Lauren would back off. But that's not how girls like her work. They don't just let you win. They have to win. Even if they're dead wrong. Even if they're wearing stolen velvet and lies stitched together with fake smiles. The next morning, I woke up to a flurry of texts. Not from Caleb. From people I hadn't talked to in months. People from school. From theater club. Even girls I barely knew. That dance? OMG Queen Energy. Lauren looks pressed. Some had even tagged me in blurry prom photos already circulating on social media. I saw my black dress shimmering in flashlighting. Caleb's hand at my waist. My face tilted upward in a laugh. It looked like we were falling in love. But trust me, it wasn't that simple. I was brushing my teeth when Jasmine burst into my room, holding her phone like it was burning her. Girl, you're trending. I nearly spit toothpaste. She dropped on my bed, scrolling through her screen like a gossip tornado. Lauren posted a story. And then deleted it. But someone screen recorded it.
She turned the phone toward me.
There was Lauren, filming herself in my blue velvet dress, standing in her bathroom mirror. Her voice? Dripping sarcasm. Some people can't handle a little confidence. Guess that's why they showed up in a backup dress and tried to steal my date. Sad, really. Then she zoomed in on the hem of the dress and said, "Shame she didn't finish her stitching. Must have run out of talent and thread." I clenched my jaw. It wasn't enough she wore it. Now she was mocking how I made it? Jasmine looked ready to fight. You want me to post a side-by-side comparison of your original sketch? Tag the entire school? We'll end her. I sat down slowly. No, I said. Not yet. Jasmine narrowed her eyes. You've got that look again. What look? The I'm planning something dramatic and dangerous look. I smiled. Good. On Monday, school was buzzing. Prom talk was everywhere. And I walked in like I had nothing to prove. Because I didn't. I wore a cream crop jacket over a soft blue tee, wide-leg jeans, and chunky black boots. My hair was half up in a braided twist. No makeup. Just lip balm and calm. People stared. Some nodded. Others whispered. Lauren sat near the front hallway, perched on the edge of a bench like she was royalty holding court. Her curls were tighter than usual, makeup sharp. When she saw me, she smirked and said, loud enough to carry,
Wow.
looks like someone's dress-up night is over. I stopped, turned toward her, and gave the smallest, most infuriating smile I could manage. Don't worry, I said. The dress will get its own night soon. She blinked.
What?
You'll see. Then I walked away, and for the first time, I saw a flicker of doubt cross her face. What Lauren didn't know was that my mom had already helped me enter the dress, the original blue velvet dress, into the state design showcase. The one hosted by our district's Fashion and Arts Council. Winners got scholarship offers, exposure, even potential internships. I hadn't told anyone yet, because when I first applied, I didn't think I'd even place.
But now?
Now I had a reason. I printed out the sketchbook pages, the original concept drawings, fabric swatches, and photos of the dress before Lauren stole it. And then I added the final touch. A side-by-side comparison photo. Mine, stitched carefully, lined with soft satin, custom embroidery along the hem. Hers, crumpled after prom, hem undone, the zipper slightly broken from when she probably squeezed into it. It wasn't petty. It was proof. Proof of who really made the magic. 2 days later, Caleb caught up with me in the parking lot after school. I wanted to check in, he said. You okay? I nodded. Better than ever. He smiled. That's good. I mean it. I looked at him. He looked tired, like he hadn't slept much, like prom was still echoing in his head. She's been texting me, he said quietly.
Lauren.
She thinks I'm playing both sides. I raised an eyebrow. Are you?
No.
He took a breath. I think I let people push me around too much. Especially her. I stayed silent. Then he said something I didn't expect. Can I support you? I blinked. Support me? You, he said. Your designs. The real stuff. I saw your notebook once, your sketches. You're amazing. What she did. That wasn't just stealing a dress. That was stealing your voice. I want to help you take it back. I stared at him. I didn't know if I forgave him yet, but I believed him. And right then, that was enough. On Friday, the school announced that our district's art fair would include a fashion segment for the first time ever. Students could vote on which senior would showcase their design on the auditorium stage. I knew what I had to do. I entered the contest with both dresses, the original and the imitation. The showcase wouldn't just be about aesthetics. It would be about story. I submitted a short write-up titled, Stolen Thread, A Tale of Two Dresses. I told the truth. No names, just truth. About hard work, betrayal, silence, and resilience. I didn't ask for pity. I asked for perspective. The week of the show, rumors swirled. People guessed what the two dresses meant. Some figured it out. Others whispered. And Lauren? She went quiet. She stopped wearing the blue dress. She didn't even post new pictures. But I knew she was watching. I could feel it. The night of the fashion showcase, I stood backstage with my heart in my throat. My model, a junior named Camila, was dressed in the original blue velvet gown. Hair pinned, heels shined. She looked exactly how I imagined it when I first stitched the design. Confident, bold, elegant. The stage manager gave the signal. Lights down. Spotlight up. Camila walked slowly to center stage. And the auditorium gasped. The announcer read my write-up. This is a story of something beautiful being taken and then reclaimed. It's a dress. It's a moment. It's me. Applause thundered. I stepped out next to the dress, took a bow, looked directly at the third row. Lauren sat there, eyes wide, jaw clenched, And Caleb, he clapped the loudest. A dress is just fabric, until you wear the truth. They say revenge is best served cold. But sometimes, it's sewn into velvet, spotlighted on stage, and applauded by 1,000 hands, while the person who betrayed you has to sit and watch it happen. That night, the auditorium buzzed with clapping, whispers, and cell phone flashes. My dress, the real one, was the final design shown. And when the announcer finished reading my story aloud, the whole room stood to their feet. Except one. Lauren didn't move, didn't clap, didn't smile. She just sat there in the third row, shrinking. And I didn't even look away. Because why should I? She wore the dress, but I wore the truth. The next morning, the school's Instagram account posted highlights from the showcase. Guess which clip got the most views? Not the floral jumpsuits. Not the neon streetwear. Not even the vintage gown with Swarovski crystals. It was Camila, strutting in the blue velvet dress, hair slicked into a classic bun, every step timed to the music like power in motion. The caption read, "Original design by Senior Ava Martin. Story, stolen thread." And then my inbox exploded. Not just from classmates, from local news reporters, bloggers, even a boutique from downtown asking if I'd be interested in a collab. My fingers shook as I scrolled through the messages. I hadn't felt this scene ever. Jasmine nearly tackled me that morning, waving her phone in the air. "You are a legend." I laughed, stunned. I didn't think it would blow up like this. She gave me a look. "Girl, you didn't just design a dress. You aired out an entire theater-worthy betrayal with elegance, drama, and receipts. The world loves a soft-spoken savage." I smiled at that. But deep down, I felt something else too. A tiny, twisting knot of guilt. Because I knew what was coming. By lunch, word got around. Lauren was losing her grip. She'd locked her Instagram, canceled her hair appointment, skipped cheer practice. Someone even said she cried in the bathroom stall after fourth period. Part of me, a small part, felt sorry. Not because she didn't deserve it, but because I remembered what it felt like. To be stared at, talked about, judged. She made me feel invisible once. Now she was too visible, and hated it. After school, I found a folded note in my locker. The handwriting was tight, neat, familiar. "You could have come to me. You didn't have to humiliate me like that. I made a mistake. I panicked, but you turned it into a whole thing. We used to be best friends. Al." I stared at the paper for a long time. Best friends. We hadn't been friends since she started treating my talent like her backup plan. Since she pretended my work was hers, then mocked me publicly for calling it out. Still, something about the note stuck with me. She wasn't denying it. She wasn't playing dumb. She was hurt. And in a weird way, that made it worse. The next day, I saw Caleb waiting outside my art class. He had 2 coffees in hand and a nervous smile. "I figured you might need caffeine for the attention storm." I smiled. "You figured right." We sat under the tree near the courtyard where no one else really went. He looked at me for a long moment and said, "You know, I saw her crying after the show." "I know," I said quietly. He leaned forward. "Do you regret it?" I didn't answer right away. Then I said, "I don't regret telling the truth. But I regret that it had to come to this." He nodded slowly. "Same." We sat in silence for a bit. Then he added, "I want to do something. Not for her. For you. Like, help take this dress thing further." I raised an eyebrow. "How?" He grinned. "I have a friend. Well, my cousin's girlfriend. She runs a social media page that highlights up-and-coming teen designers. Like millions of followers." My jaw dropped. "Seriously?" "Seriously. She saw the clip. Asked about you. I can connect you too." My heart was thumping so loud, I could barely breathe. "That would be incredible." He smiled. "Then consider it done." By Friday, everything was moving faster than I could keep up. I had a Zoom call scheduled with the fashion page's content director. My inbox had more messages than spam could filter. And my art teacher? She nominated me for a summer design program in New York. I should have been ecstatic. But instead, I kept thinking about Lauren's note. And the way she said, "We used to be best friends." On Saturday, I drove to the old thrift shop where I used to buy scraps of fabric. It was half nostalgia, half needing a break from the buzz. I was flipping through a rack of used denim when I saw her.
Lauren.
Alone. No makeup. No attitude. Just a girl in a hoodie, holding a folded blouse. She saw me and froze. We stood there, in the same aisle, silence pressing between us. Finally, she spoke. "You gonna post about this too?" I shook my head. "No." She looked down. "You hate me." "I did," I said. "But not anymore. Hating you means I'm still giving you space in my head. And I've got better things to focus on now." She laughed bitterly.
"So this is it?
"You won. Congrats." I stayed calm. It was never about winning. It was about owning what was mine. "You took something I made. You made me feel small for standing up for myself. That wasn't a mistake. That was a choice." She swallowed hard. "I know. I messed up." "Yeah," I said. "You did." We stood there for a moment longer. Then I turned to leave. But just before I did, she called after me. "Your dress? It looked better on you anyway." Later that night, I stared at my open laptop, fingers hovering above the keyboard. I had to write a personal statement for the New York program. It was supposed to explain why I wanted to be a designer. I thought about all the answers I used to have. Because I loved fashion. Because I liked making things. Because it helped me escape.
But now?
Now I wrote this. I want to be a designer because clothes hold stories. Because sometimes the thing we wear becomes a shield, a truth,
A voice we didn't know we had.
I stitched that voice with my own hands, and I'll never let anyone take it again. The day the acceptance email came, I screamed so loud my neighbor banged on the wall. I had been chosen. A full scholarship. 3 weeks in New York. Workshops. Runway mentors. Portfolio building. It was real. All of it. And it started with a stolen dress that turned into a louder life. New York doesn't wait, and neither do I. The air in New York smells like ambition. That's the only way I can describe it. It's like everything here is moving. Fast, loud, unapologetic. And somehow I fit right in. The first day of the design program, I walked through those studio doors with my sketchbook clutched tight in my hand. My name was printed on a white badge, hanging from a lanyard that felt way too official for someone who had just last month been crying over a stolen prom dress. But here I was. Not because someone handed me a favor. Not because I played it safe. But because I told the truth with stitches. The studio smelled like fresh fabric and coffee. Huge bolts of fabric lined the walls, tables stacked with mood boards, mannequins in every corner. Every designer had their own little station with a nameplate and a chair that rolled. Mine said AVA Martin. No last-minute printing. No misspellings. It was real. And I was ready. The first challenge they gave us? Design a statement piece inspired by the moment we became who we are. I stared at the prompt for a while, letting the question sit in my chest. Because I knew exactly when that moment happened. Not when I got accepted here. Not even when I saw my dress on stage. But when Lauren smirked in that hallway and said, "Relax. It's just a dress." That was the moment I knew I wasn't going to be silent ever again. I started sketching like my life depended on it. A structured high-low hem. A bodice that opened like pages of a book. Back panels hand-embroidered with lines of text, like a hidden story coming to life. Every stitch, a memory. Every layer, a reclaiming. I used deep crimson silk and black mesh overlay. Bold colors, no apologies. One of the mentors, Janelle, walked by mid-process and paused behind me. She was this effortlessly cool designer from Brooklyn who'd once dressed a celebrity at the Met Gala. She leaned over my table, eyebrows raised. "This piece, it's angry. Honest. I like that." I smiled.
Good.
"It's supposed to be." She nodded slowly. "Well then, make sure your craftsmanship matches your message." Because bold designs? They demand precision. And I took that to heart. Back home, I never let myself get loud with fashion. But here, I was unlearning that shame one needle at a time. That night in the dorms, I FaceTimed Jasmine. She answered wearing a sheet mask and holding a bag of chips. "Tell me everything," she said dramatically. "Did anyone cry over bobbins yet?" I laughed. "Not yet. But this one girl hot-glued an entire corset shut. So we're getting there." Jasmine grinned, then paused. "You look different, you know." "Different how?" She tilted her head. "Like someone who isn't scared anymore." That hit harder than I expected. Because maybe I had been scared. Scared of being invisible. Of being mocked. Of taking up space in ways people didn't expect me to. But not anymore. A few days later, Janelle introduced us to a guest panel of stylists and photographers. Among them, Danica Ross. If you don't know her, she's basically fashion royalty. Runs a digital magazine with 2 million subscribers. Wears sunglasses inside and pulls it off. She walked through the workstations like a storm in heels, saying nothing. Just observing. When she reached my table, I stood a little straighter. She looked at the fabric, the stitching, the embroidered quotes. Then she picked up my sketchbook and flipped to a page I forgot I'd left open. The first thing I ever drew of my prom dress, the real one. She studied it quietly, then said, "This one yours?" I nodded. "Yes." Danica looked me dead in the eye. "Don't ever let anyone tell you a dress can't be a weapon." Then she walked away. And my heart soared. On the final showcase day, I dressed my model, a tall girl named Rhea, with the kind of cheekbones that made everything look expensive. As she stepped onto the runway platform under the lights, something shifted in me. This was no longer about proving a point. This was about becoming the point. I watched the audience react. Wide eyes, lifted phones, gasps during the final turn when the embroidered quotes caught the light. And then the applause. Thunderous. Not because I played it safe. Because I finally told the whole truth and made it wearable. After the show, Danica found me backstage. She handed me a card. Her name. Her magazine. Her personal assistant's number. "Come by next week," she said. "Let's talk internship." I blinked, stunned. "Wait, seriously?" She smirked. "You already stitched your way into the conversation. Might as well stay in it." I swear I didn't breathe until she was gone. Later that night, while packing up my sewing kit, I opened my messages. One from Caleb. Saw the live stream. "You crushed it. Also, I may have bragged to, everyone that I knew you before you were famous." Grinning face with sweat. And another from someone I never expected. "Lauren. I watched it too. You've always been better than me. I just hated how much I knew that. I hope one day we can talk for real. No drama. Just truth." I didn't respond right away. Not because I was angry, but because for once I was too full of peace to interrupt it. On the last day of the program, I sat by the Hudson River, sketching a new piece. Something softer. Something for me. A dress with no vengeance. No defense. Just joy. And as the sun dipped into the skyline, I whispered out loud, almost without thinking, "They can take the dress. They can even take the credit. But they'll never take the story again. The dress wasn't mine, but the spotlight is." You'd think that once the fashion showcase was over, the buzz would die down. But it didn't. If anything, it caught fire. That night, the studio posted clips from the runway to their social media account. They featured a few standout designs. And mine was front and center. The camera zoomed in on the stitched phrases along the back of the dress, quotes I had written about silence, shame, and taking it back. Someone in the comments wrote, "This designer didn't just make a dress. She told a story." I felt that. Within hours, it had over 60,000 views. By morning, it had 200,000. The comments section became a flood. "You can feel the pain and power in that gown. I want her to design my wedding dress. Who is she? Where can I buy this?" Finally, fashion that speaks. I sat on my dorm bed, staring at the screen, phone in hand, heart pounding. It was happening. And then the DMs came. First from smaller boutique stores, asking to collaborate. Then from a podcast called Threaded Truths asking for an interview. Then an email subject line, internship opportunity, Ross Digital.
Yes.
That Ross. Danica Ross. The same woman who once told me, don't let anyone tell you a dress can't be a weapon. I forwarded the email to Jasmine with nothing but 10 exclamation marks. She called me immediately, screaming,
Ava.
This is it. This is your origin story moment. I laughed, still in disbelief. You think they'll actually take me? They already have. A week later, I'm standing in the glossy white lobby of Ross Digital HQ. It's one of those high-rise buildings with floor-to-ceiling windows, fancy security, and a receptionist who looks like she moonlights as a model. I'm holding a leather portfolio, knees wobbling inside my boots. Then Danica walks in, yes, wearing sunglasses inside again, and gestures for me to follow. Welcome to the fire, she says. Let's see if you can keep up. I start as an intern, of course. That means long hours, coffee runs, garment steaming, tagging inventory. But I don't care, because I'm in a room, and when I'm not running errands, I sketch. I pin fabric scraps to my corkboard. I listen to every critique, every style meeting, every impromptu brainstorm that happens in the hallway. I become a sponge. And Danica notices. One day, she calls me into her office. You're quiet, she says, folding her arms. But not in a scared way. In a brewing way. I blink. Brewing? She shrugs. You've got something simmering. When you're ready to boil, let me know.
I don't even know what to say.
But I walk out of her office with the strangest sense of empowerment. I might not be loud, but I'm loud in my work. And that's starting to be enough. Back home, things start to shift. Jasmine sends me clips from prom week. Lauren and Caleb never worked out, it seems. He went with someone else entirely. I'm not surprised. She also sends me a photo Lauren posted recently. It's her holding one of my old sketches. Caption. This used to hang in our shared room. I threw it away. I should have framed it instead. Sorry, Ava. It doesn't sting anymore. It just feels finished. But the biggest shock comes a month later. I'm sitting at my Ross internship desk when I get an email. We'd like to feature you in our Voices to Watch campaign. From Refinery Thread, a massive fashion storytelling platform. They want to do a write-up on my prom dress, the showcase, and my story. I read the email 3 times before it sinks in. They don't just want my designs. They want my truth. The photo shoot is set in a studio with soft lights and pale backdrops. They give me a chair, a cup of tea, and ask, So, what inspired the quotes on the back of your dress? I pause, looking into the lens. I used to be afraid of taking up space, I say. Especially emotional space. I thought if I just stayed quiet, I'd be respected. But silence became a prison. Stitching those quotes was my way out. The photographer nods slowly, snapping shot after shot. And in one moment, one perfectly still frame, I see myself. Not the girl from high school halls, but the woman I'm becoming. The article goes live 2 weeks later. Titled, The Girl Who Took Her Story Back, One Stitch at a Time. Within 48 hours, my social media blows up. My inbox fills with messages from other girls. I was bullied at prom too. Your story healed something in me. I didn't get to wear my dream dress, but now I want to sew one myself. You gave me permission to be angry and creative at the same time. I cry that night, not out of pain, but release. It wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about reclamation. And then something surreal happens. Danica walks by my desk and tosses a small stack of printed photos on it. She says, without looking back, You're not just an intern anymore. The stack? A mock-up of my design featured in Ross Digital's upcoming fall collection, with my name on it. I FaceTime Jasmine again that night. She screams so loud I have to turn the volume down. I told you, she yells. I told you you'd be a name. I laugh through tears. Can you believe she put me in the collection? I can. Because you didn't just stitch fabric, Ava. You stitched yourself back together. That weekend, I take the subway to Brooklyn and sit at a quiet cafe, watching the street outside. I open my sketchbook, not because I need to submit anything, but because I want to draw for the first time in a long time, just for me. I sketch a new dress. Simple, flowing, with no zippers, no harsh lines, no hidden messages, just softness. Because now I don't need armor all the time. Sometimes softness is power, too. Then my phone buzzes. A message from Caleb.
Hey.
I saw the feature. I'm proud of you. And I hope Lauren sees it too, not out of spite, but out of awe. I reply, thank you. I hope so, too. But I didn't do this for her anymore. The next page in my sketchbook is blank. And for once, that excites me. Because I know now, I can make anything. From pain. From silence. From being underestimated. Every story they tried to erase, I just stitched it louder. The world gave me a mirror, and I didn't look away. There's something strange about seeing your life reflected back at you through the eyes of strangers. People who've never met you are reposting your designs, commenting on your words, wearing your messages on t-shirts, demanding you things like, I walked out of a toxic friendship today because of what you said about reclaiming your voice. My little sister showed me your article. We both cried. Thank you for reminding me that pain can become power. At first, I didn't know how to handle it. All I ever wanted was to survive prom with a little dignity. I didn't think I'd start a movement. But maybe it started the moment I stopped asking permission. It's been 3 months since the Refinery Thread article went viral. Ross Digital officially signed me on as a junior designer. And just this morning, I got my first solo feature in Stitchline magazine. There's a full-page spread of me standing beside a mannequin dressed in the revised version of the prom gown, the one I never got to wear that night. Only now, I don't call it a prom dress. I call it the comeback piece. It has soft gray undertones, gentle structure, and subtle embroidered lines like sound waves, my voice, finally visualized. The piece is symbolic. And people are responding. They're not asking, who made it? They're saying, she made it. And for the first time, I feel like the world knows who I am. It's a Friday evening when the invitation arrives. A navy blue envelope, thick and textured. Inside is a card with gold lettering that reads, North Shore High School 10-year Promiversary. What could have been? Join us for a night of celebration, reconnection, and redemption. I stare at it in disbelief. Promiversary? Is that even a real word? I turn the card over. There's a note scribbled in pen at the bottom. It would mean the world if you came. Jasmine. I smile. Of course she's behind this. The event is set in a high school gym, but it's unrecognizable. Fairy lights string across the ceiling. Drapes line the walls. There's even a small red carpet leading to the entrance, where a photographer snaps Polaroids of guests as they arrive. And there, at the center of it all, is Jasmine, my best friend, the girl who once helped me rebuild a stolen dress with trembling hands and fiery heart. She's wearing a sleek midnight blue jumpsuit, hair in curls, giant grin on her face. When she sees me, she gasps, Ava. She walks over, hand to her chest. You came. You really came. I'm wearing something different this time. Not a statement dress. Not armor. Just a white satin two-piece with soft draping and silver thread at the edges. It doesn't shout. It doesn't whisper. It just is. Like me. Jasmine hugs me tight, then pulls me into the crowd. A DJ spins 2000s throwbacks. Someone's dancing in a tiara. The punch is surprisingly good. But then, through the soft light and laughter, I see her. Lauren. She's standing near the corner, in a black dress, hair pinned back, heels high. Her makeup is flawless. But her eyes, those are quieter now. Less sharp. We make eye contact. She freezes. I nod. Then walk past her, toward the refreshment table. I'm not here to make a scene. I'm here to stand in the scene I was once erased from. Later, as the night winds down, I step outside for air. And to my surprise, I hear footsteps behind me.
Ava.
It's Lauren. Her voice is hesitant.
Soft.
She's holding something in her hand. A folded piece of paper. She offers it to me. I unfold it. It's the original sketch of the prom dress I had taped to our shared bedroom wall. The one she tore down and called pathetic. I kept it, she says. All this time. I look at her, unsure of what to say. I was jealous, she continues. You had something I didn't, something real. I thought if I wore your creation, I'd feel powerful. But I just felt like a thief. She looks away. I'm sorry. It's a strange thing, getting the apology you never thought would come. It doesn't erase what happened. Doesn't undo the night I spent crying into Jasmine's lap while stitching together a shattered dream. But it softens the weight I've been carrying. I nod. Thank you, I say. That's all. We don't need to be friends again. But we don't have to be enemies anymore. The next week, I fly to New York for my first fashion panel. The theme is voices that shifted the needle. When it's my turn to speak, I take a deep breath. I think of every girl who's ever been told she was too quiet, too sensitive, too much, or not enough. And I say, there's something powerful about the things people try to steal from you. Your voice, your work, your moment. But what they forget is you made those things. And you can make more. The room goes still. Then it erupts in applause. After the panel, a girl around 17 comes up to me. She's holding a sketch pad. I want to be a designer, she says. But everyone keeps telling me I should pick something more stable. I smile. Stable doesn't build dreams, I reply. Raw courage does. She nods, then hands me the sketch pad. Would you look at my designs? I flip through the pages, rough lines, uneven proportions, bold color choices, wild shapes. They're chaotic.
Brave.
Beautiful. You've got something, I tell her. She grins so wide I swear the air around her shifts. And in that moment I see myself again years ago. Alone. Afraid. Drawing in secret.
But now?
I'm not just surviving it. I'm lighting the way back. The last scene of this chapter? It's simple. I'm sitting in a tiny studio apartment with sunlight pouring in through gauzy curtains. My laptop is open, a fabric swatch board beside me, and a small plaque that reads, Ava Holland, head designer, Thread and Rise.
Yes.
That's the name of my brand now. Thread and Rise. Because every thread I've ever sewn has been part of my climb. And I'm nowhere near done.